out of the day, the wisdom of Jose Arellano.
Good morning, everybody. It's easier to stand right there at that post than it is to come up here and give a thought. But I'm going to give one anyway. So my thought of the day, has anybody ever heard of paralysis by analysis? I'll put it a different way. You ever heard of stuck like Chuck?
Yeah.
So paralysis by analysis is similar to like stuck like Chuck. Is I'm not moving anything because I'm stuck right here. And I'm thinking about it too much, or I'm talking about it too much. And I'll give you an example, being stuck like Chuck. So many moons ago, we went on this hike. You know, Tom invited us to this hike, and we went up to Mount Whitney. And I'm down with all that. I'm down with the challenge of hiking. I'm down with the challenge of pushing myself to the next level. So we're on this hike and we're all pushing ourselves, and it was very challenging. It was one of the most challenging things physically in my life I'd ever been through, and I was okay with that. But we got to this part of the hike, and there was like these cables, and there was these cables, and there was like a little ledge, and everybody climbed across these cables and this little ledge like nothing. I mean, as soon as we got to the hike, boom, the homies were just jumping through the cables like nothing. But when I got to that point, I started to overthink it. I started to think too much. And I remember looking at the cables, and I started looking at the cliff, and I was like, damn, I'm kind of big, my feet are kind of big, what if I trip on my shoelace? You know, I started to go into this what if. You know, damn, what if I fall? Who's gonna call my family? You know what I mean? There's no phones up here. I just started to spiral out of control. And then I'm like, damn, I'm kind of heavy, so it's gonna be a harder fall. You know what I mean? I just started to spiral. And by the time it was my turn to go through these cables, I was stuck like Chuck. I couldn't move. You know what I mean? Because of all these thoughts and considering all these outcomes, I couldn't move. Like literally, I physically couldn't move. And the homies are like, what's up? Like, let's go, homie. You know, Robert Wallace comes aside, he's like, what are you doing? Like, let's go, homie. And I'm stuck like Chuck because I was overthinking the situation. And then at a certain point, I remember everyone's like, dog, we gotta keep it moving. Like, we gotta go. You know, we can't stay here. Because that was also a part of the hike. Like, we couldn't stay there, and they couldn't leave me there by myself. So it's like either I got through this portion of the hike, or they were all gonna have to stay back with me, and we were not gonna make it to the top. And I remember the homie coming over, and he's like, dog, like, snap out of it, homie. Like, let's go. And finally, you know, I snapped out of it. And I got in them cables. And then what happened was I realized that I was in control. That my thoughts, the possible outcomes, the what ifs were no longer, it was me that was in control. My hands were on the cables and my feet were on the ledge, and it was up to me to get myself across. And I say all that to say is that, you know, sometimes, and especially when we come here, after, you know, all the dust has settled in our past lives, and we've pushed through so much, we come here and things come up. You know, or we're putting together a plan for ourselves, and then we start identifying all the problems. Like, well, what about this? Or what about if my partner doesn't like it? Or what about if, you know, this goes wrong or that goes wrong? And we're in conversations, and we even do it sometimes as leadership here. Like, what about that? And what about this? And oh my God, this might happen. Like, yeah, those are all possible outcomes, but we're never going to know unless we get to moving, unless we start moving our feet. We're never going to know. And it reminds me, and I was thinking about this because I was thinking, like, what is my thought going to be about? This morning, has anybody ever seen that movie, Chicken Little? Yeah. When Chicken Little running around, the sky is falling, you know, and the sky is falling, but the sky don't ever fall. You know what I mean? And so I was thinking about that, how often we do that in our own lives when we're putting together a plan, or even on our own, we're considering our next move, and the sky is falling in our minds. Or within our team, the sky is falling. But the sky don't ever fall. And I wrote this down this morning in the gym because I was really thinking about Chicken Little. And, you know, so the sky is falling. Well, it hasn't fallen yet. So what are you going to do? You can stand around and wait for it to fall. You can prepare for it to fall, or you can help prevent it from falling altogether. It's our choice, you know. And the only way to get past being stuck like Chuck or paralysis by analysis is to move, is to take action. So I challenge all of us today, what is it in our lives that we know we've talked about it enough, we've thought about it enough, and it's time for us to take action. Thank you.
Give it up one more time for Jose.